We're back again with another stimulus check update for you. And if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button underneath the video and hit the like button so that way YouTube can promote this video also. And leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think about all of this here. And tonight we have a very special topic. Basically, we're continuing what we were talking about last night. The Senate Phase 4 stimulus bill, which was revealed yesterday. We have good news still going. A second stimulus check is still on the way. This is our second stimulus check update for you for today, July 28th of 2020. Now, basically, the Democrats and the Republicans, they're far apart as coronavirus aids talks, they intensify. Now, a day of shuttle diplomacy on Capitol Hill over a coronavirus aid package produced few results today. And there's stark differences between the $3 trillion proposals that Democrats propose and the $1 trillion counteroffer from Republicans. And now millions of Americans, jobless benefits, school reopenings, and eviction protection still hang in the balance right now as we speak. Now, as top White House negotiators return for a second day of talks, the leverage is apparent. They're meeting again in House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's office. Republicans are so deeply divided over the prospect of big government spending that Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is left with a severely weakened hand. Now, President Trump, on the other hand, said the Republican effort is semi-irrelevant as talks launch with the Democrats. Trump said at the White House that we want to do what's best for the people. Now, striking any agreement with Congress by Friday's deadline for expiring aid will be daunting, but the outcome will be a defining one for the president and the parties heading into the November election, as an uneasy nation is watching and waiting for Washington to bring some end to the health crisis and devastating economic fallout, as reported in the Chicago Tribune. Now, Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer said, "We cannot afford to fail." The key to the debate is the $600 weekly unemployment benefit bump that's expiring for millions of jobless Americans. Republicans want to slash it to $200 a week as an incentive to push people back to work. Democrats have shown flickers of willingness to curb the federal aid, but held firm in first-round talks. Wider disputes will punctuate the discussions over money for cash-strapped states and cities. Schools prepare for fall and virus testing, and billions of dollars to shore up American households and small businesses facing potential ruin as the virus rages and stay-home orders resume. Now, with the virus death toll climbing and 4.2 million infections nationwide, both parties are eager for relief. But McConnell acknowledged the limits with Republicans split. "We've done the best we can," Mitch McConnell said. Now, Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin and White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows spent hours going back and forth between the leaders' offices at the Capitol. McConnell set the tone by insisting that he would accept no package without a liability shield against C-word sickness pandemic lawsuits. His top priority, that's what it was from the start. But now he's coming to the negotiating table with half the GOP senators expected to oppose any virus relief deal. And the Democrats swiftly rebuffed his demand, telling the White House negotiators to ask if he was serious. Pelosi called it liability on steroids, a sweeping ban on injury lawsuits, and she said McConnell sounded like a person who had no interest in having an agreement. Mnuchin and Meadows also heard an earful during a private GOP lunch. Several senators vigorously questioned Mnuchin, Meadows, and McConnell and warned against caving to liberal demands, so said two Republicans who spoke on condition of anonymity to discuss the closed door meeting. Now, senators, they predicted the price tag will balloon past $1 trillion. Senator Josh Hawley, a Republican from Missouri, said, "It's a mess. I don't know what we're trying to accomplish. By the day's end, Meadows acknowledged that talks are not getting closer. The White House officials plan to return Wednesday." Now, the two bills are widely seen as starting points in talks. Republicans seek $16 billion for virus testing. Democrats want $75 billion for virus testing. For school reopenings, Democrats want 4 times the $105 billion that Republicans propose. Democrats want to extend a federal eviction moratorium on millions of rental units that is expiring Friday, but Republicans are silent on evictions. While McConnell insisted on the liability shield, Democrats want tougher federal workplace safety oversight. One major sticking point will be overfunding for states and cities. Democrats proposed nearly $1 trillion to avert municipal layoffs, but Republicans prefer providing them with flexibility in the previously approved aid. Now, an area of common ground is agreement on a new round of $1,200 direct payments to Americans earning $75,000 or less. But Democrats also add a hero's pay bonus for frontline workers, which is $13 an hour, maximum of $10,000, according to the HEROES Act, and also money for food stamps, a 15% increase, and other assistance as well. Conservative Republicans quickly broke ranks, arguing the spending was way too much and priorities misplaced. Now, Senator Lindsey Graham, a Republican from South Carolina, said McConnell would be lucky to get half the Republicans on board. Graham said at the Capitol, "We're in a war, okay, with the virus. If you don't think we need money for hospitals and doctors, you're not looking at the same movie I'm looking at." As bipartisan talks unfold, the White House has suggested a narrower relief package may be all that's possible. Democrats have dismissed that as too meager. And Senator John Cornyn, a Republican from Texas, said, "I haven't heard any support for that." Now, the $600 weekly jobless benefits boost approved as part of the March aid package, the CARES Act, officially expires Friday. But because of the way states process unemployment payments, the cutoff has effectively begun. Economists widely see signs of trouble in the economy as the C-word pandemic crisis also continues also as well. Now, basically, this is what I see happening out of all of this. For number one, the HEALS Act will not pass, okay? And what I mean by that, the HEALS Act will not pass, I mean that it will not pass as it is, okay? The proposal from Mitch McConnell, leader of the Senate, it will not pass as it is because Democrats are opposed to cutting the $600 a week in unemployment extra benefits down to $200 per week. And also the Republicans' proposal, the HEALS Act, want to cut it even further down to 70% of a person's wages after September, I believe it is. So Democrats strongly oppose that. Also, the Democrats are not too fond of the business liability shield for 5 years that the Republican proposal, the HEALS Act, wants to give. They may be able to negotiate, however, on the business liability shield if workers are protected. If there are some worker protections in the bill, then the Democrats may negotiate with that, okay, and come to terms with that. As far as unemployment, I believe since the Democrats want to extend the $600 weekly unemployment boost all the way to January 2021. And the Republicans want to cut it down to $200 and then go down to 70% of a person's wages. Maybe there's room for the Republicans and the Democrats to meet somewhere in the middle. Okay, if the Republicans want $200 a week and the Democrats want $600 a week, then why not just make a deal, cut a deal on a $400 a week extra unemployment bonus benefit? Okay, and if the Democrats want it to be till January 2021 and the Republicans want to go till September or October, then maybe they can also meet in the middle, somewhere around the middle of November. Okay, now the Democrats want over $400 billion for schools, and the Republicans want $105 billion for schools. So maybe they can meet, I guess, midway somewhere around $250 billion, somewhere there. And maybe they can meet in the middle on virus testing too also as well. So there's been no mention so far in the new HEALS Act proposed by the Senate of any hazard pay for essential workers. And we all know that the HEROES Act, which was passed by the Democrats through the House of Representatives, makes a proposal called the HEROES Fund, which gives the essential workers $13 an hour extra on top of their pay, with a cap at $10,000, which they would add up the total amount of hours that a person worked since the beginning of this year. But the cap would be $10,000. So meaning an essential worker could get no more than $10,000. Now, will the Republicans agree to that? I don't know, basically, because they have not spoken against hazard pay at all. But the Democrats were pushing for hazard pay in the HEROES Act. So it could be a possibility here. I believe it's a slim chance, maybe a 5% chance that hazard pay could get passed in the final negotiations. Now, just take notice here that the HEALS Act is not a final bill. Okay, it has not been voted on in the Senate as of yet. Okay, but it would have to be voted on in the Senate, and then it would have to be presented to the House of Representatives, where the majority of Democrats that are there in the House can also make a vote on it. And hopefully they can either add to it or subtract to it, however they see fit. But the main idea here is that of importance to all Americans is that we have a final bill before August 8th, because after August 7th, that's when the Senate goes on their next recess break, which will be about for 30 days. So I'll just put up here a basic timeline here. We have, I didn't put this here on the screen, but July 31st is when the unemployment $600 boost officially ends. Now, August 7th is the last day that the Senate will be in session. Now, September 8th is also important too, also as well, because that starts another recess, as well as October 9th, because for the majority of the month of October, Congress will not be in session also as well. But we have good news also, is that Nancy Pelosi has promised that if negotiations still need to carry on, that she would make it her duty to make sure that the House of Representatives does not go on recess. Now, if the Republicans go on recess after August 7th without passing a final bill in the Senate at least, then they can pretty much hang it up for the elections in November. I believe they have already lost the Senate if they do that, as political suicide. But right now, as it stands right now, I believe they have already lost the Senate anyway, because the way Mitch McConnell and the Republicans have been delaying getting aid and relief to the people for the past 4 months. And, hoping that the economy would improve so much to the point where they won't even need to give people a stimulus check or any aid at all. And that's what they've been doing all of this time. Meanwhile, the Democrats have made an attempt to provide aid to the people by passing the HEROES Act back in May. So I'm not beating up on the Republicans, but I'm just calling it how I see it. Okay. So will the HEROES Act pass? I believe no, not the way it's written. It will be transformed, especially when it hits the House of Representatives. And maybe we will see some version of a part HEROES Act and part HEALS Act put together into one bill. Okay. So that's all I got for you guys, and make sure that you subscribe to the video and give the video a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below, and what do you think is going to come out of all of this here? And don't forget to join our Facebook group. It's free, where you can get more stimulus check updates every single day. The link is down in the description. Just hit the down arrow here. And while you're there, make sure you check out other links for free money and other helpful resources. And again, from all of us here at the How to Get an 800 Credit Score family, stay safe, be blessed, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. We'll see you tomorrow. My name is Lyndon Baptiste, and on this channel we talk about ways to increase your credit score, build credit, and get approved for the lowest payments on mortgages and lines of credit, travel the world for free, earn extra money with cash back. And if that interests you, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications. That way you'll never miss a single video as we make